I've got some notes. Great talk, Bryce, and lovely to speak off the cuff. But I wanted to tell you about Vinny's, and I'm very passionate about it because it was a bit of a baby, and so I've got some notes to read the story of it. So, as Jen says, it's a community plant-based cook school, and it's based on Wavertree Road. If any of you know the old Dole office, that was bought up by Samson Security. So it's basically run in there. But without further ado, we'll get to the story. I'm a local GP, by the way, so obviously I've got a vested interest in health and interested in the health disparities across the city. So it was based around that. So tucked away off the high street in Liverpool is Vinny's Kitchen, community plant-based cook school. As I say, it sits in Samson Security Command Centre, and it runs on a Wednesday currently between 4 and 8. Now that depends on the mess that the kids make, and also depends, sometimes there's flexibility. If people want to start at 3, we can go at 3, come back, finish early. It's a safe place. It was created to educate and empower individuals and families to learn to cook easy plant-based recipes from scratch. Knowledge and practical skills can break the cycle of poverty and health inequity, as there's a clear link between cooking ability and health. Working as an NHS GP in Liverpool, I'm hit with the day-to-day struggles people are dealing with. Liverpool's got a stark cross-city variability of life expectancy of 10 years. That's like Walton to Walton. We've got some of the highest rates of non-communicable disease. So things like obesity, type 2 diabetes have got the highest rates of under 25 admissions into hospitals in the country. And this is diet-related disease. And we've got to step away the doctors prescribing drugs for diet-related disease. Child poverty rates here soar above 50%. Our homeless and hostel residents are unlikely to live beyond 45. So my dream plan was to create a welcoming environment, to invite schools, vulnerable populations through existing community and charitable organisations, to engage, empower and educate about healthy food for all. With the food produced, we'd then feed back into the community, and with consistency and expertise, there'd be the opportunity to produce sale-worthy cafe food. So idea was educate the population. As you say, it's normally women, but actually education in schools is really lacking, so home economics has gone down the pan, hasn't it? They're slowly introducing it now, so we've actually got a generation of people who cannot cook. So it was empower them, educate them, they produce meals that are then sale-worthy. Maybe attach a community cafe. This model's beautiful, isn't it? As it actually happened, Vinny's was set up over a few weeks in July 21, as you know, we were sort of mid-pandemic or whatever then. And it was set up with a patient of mine called John Richards, who had the vision and determination. He knew that I cooked and distributed plant-based meals with Scouse Kitchen. We did have it first. So, Scouse Kitchen was an outreach homeless organisation. We used to sit at Bombed Out Church, and we'd give out food, listening ear, and a load of clothes and stuff to the homeless of Liverpool. We did it every Wednesday. We went on the trolleys when the pandemic hit, and we weren't allowed to go together. And then a lot of us dispersed. I used to cook for the food, fed in for Zachary and stuff. But it's sort of gone now. So you can have the name. It's all right. The vegan food always did go down well with the homeless there. They never said. But I mean, the thing about plant-based food is, of course, it goes across all allergies, all religions, and everything like that. So I do like, stuff and coated chips, peach cobbler and custard, loads of curries. So whilst it was plant-based, it did need to have some calorie content, right? So John was passionate about supporting and giving back to the local community, and he was inspirational, ticking his own lifestyle goals. This guy would get up at 5, put a weight vest on, and do like an hour's warm up, and then do another 2 hours or something. He was a dead fit, really nice fella. So when he offered me the physical space to teach the community how to cook, I was delighted. So Vinny's was set up in their large staff kitchen. It's probably about that size there. So he got some big stainless steel workstations, and we stocked it from IKEA and local shops, TJ's and stuff. We did a first event, was a Spanish day with 16 kids from An Hour for Others. That's another local charity. We did a 3-course Spanish meal and they all learned Spanish on the same day. And John was in hospital and he was sick, his kids had COVID, and anyway, he got it. So we sent him pictures and everything, said, this is what has happened, here's all the antics that went on. We had 8 minor injuries of burns, cuts, and all the rest. I've upgraded the first aid kit since then. And about 4 weeks later, sadly, John died in hospital. And he never recovered to see the kitchen in action. But his wife, Sarah, has continued to support Vinny's work, and so it's run weekly ever since. We're able to continue the valuable work thanks to the sponsorship and generosity from plant-based health professionals. So I'm on the team board of Plant-Based Health Professionals, which is an organisation, again, health professionals promoting diet and lifestyle medicine for the benefit of people. To basically, I'll get off me. So they've sponsored it. We've also had Influx. Samson's still sponsored it, so they've given us a big new water tank. We're probably going to get some sinks put in and stuff. But again, it's small and it's ticking along as this weekly thing. Some days people might cancel, but the growth has been steady. So we've been going now since July 21, and it just keeps getting better and better with more people being engaged. So both organisations are committed to Vinny's, and the sessions are freely accessible and they're sustainable because we've got the funding and we've got the message of dietary, planetary health, and it gives a message of social justice to the wider community. The learners start at the shop, so we have a table. It's normally kids, but we've got adults as well who come along with families. They've got the recipe card, they go to the table, they pick the food, get them used to shopping. What are you going to choose? Why are you choosing that? Look at that. We go round, we taste the food, we dip in the spices. They all go round. There's lots of vegetables, herbs, legumes. Some are new, some are unfamiliar. And we have a very much just try attitude. We challenge habitual choices by cooking something fabulous from affordable, accessible and healthy plant-based ingredients. The stations themselves are set up for between 1 and 4 students, again configured to be sociable and to create a practical repertoire of easy plant-based meals. So like a bolognese, a curry, pancakes for the kids we've done, lots of different easy stuff but familiar stuff, but just using different ingredients that are healthy and feed us back. It's important the meals are timely, obviously more so now than ever with food insecurity. Quicker than it would be to go the chippy, and again encouraging time to sit together. So we sit and we'll enjoy a meal and then we'll pack it all up and we'll clear up. Empowerment and education go hand in hand because they motivate changed behaviour. Change is difficult for many reasons, but whilst local government and policymakers are procrastinating, and yes, I have been involved in DEFRA conversations, desperate. There's something very rewarding about these small wins. It's on a small scale, but I'm a firm believer that the ripple effect will work, and I think it's the only way. The only good way is we're going to break the cycle because government aren't going to do anything, and we can stand here all we like and moan about them and how rubbish they are, but actually, let's get up and do something. There's a little story here about one of the lads, a self-proclaimed committed carnivore, and he's a vulnerable adult. But he loves to come and cook in the kitchen to distract himself from the intrusive negative thoughts and the 4 walls of his supported living accommodation. So I said, come along. He said, I'm only coming to help out, I'm not eating any of that. But then he tasted the curry, that's not bad, got better, asked me to make him a moussaka, and then he took extra portions home. Everyone who attends cooks their own food to enjoy, then they take up and we pack up everything and it either goes to the homeless. So when Scouse Kitchen was mobile, former Scouse Kitchen was mobile, they come and collect the meals and then distribute them through the streets, or I take it down now and drop it at the YMCA. So it's a model that meals the whole community benefits. We all go home with a smile because obviously we know that when we give, it gives us back. Lovely. And as well as teaching the culinary skills, we discuss the human and the planetary health benefits of a whole food plant-based diet, incorporating obviously preventative healthcare messages, giving tips on climate smart choices. The aim is to encourage healthy eating, try new things, increase recipes. It means cooking with more veg than many people are used to. I mean, I'm working in Speak at the minute, and it's the first time people have actually admitted that there's days go by, you know, do you eat veg? Yeah, I eat veg. Do you eat it every day? No. You know, it's like, it's new to me, because I probably eat literally about 20 portions of fruit or veg a day. But I know that there are people, and we know from the diseases, and we know the exponential increase of chronic disease in this city as well as the country, and it's all related to food. Our health and the health of our planet are interlinked by food choices, so the populations are disproportionately influenced by fresh food availability. So areas of higher deprivation and poorer health outcomes have less access to education regarding diet, and physically less access to fruit and vegetables. So that's why Vinny's and similar projects are so important. You supply a weekly nutritious meal, but you also educate and empower. I don't know whether any of you read the Broken Plate report, but I think the latest figures were if you were in the lowest income band, you had to spend, was that 47 or 57% of your income on food to have a healthy diet, and if you're in the highest rate, then you're only spending 11%. That 11% is actually higher. I think that used to be around 8, but the Broken Plate report is amazing. It's from the Food Foundation, and they're always lobbying the government as well. But you know, if you go down the poorest areas, you'll have the highest volume of takeaways, fast food restaurants, and anyone would think it was like a cult, because you've got no education, lack of education, lack of awareness, loads of chippies, loads of takeaways. So the poorest food in the poorest areas. So obviously the health disparities are not going to get any better doing that, are they? So food insecurity needs to be addressed with policy change to help populations, and not by food banks, as Bryce was saying then, which are reliant on food supplies, volunteers and informed communities, where there's issues of reluctance to attend and some of the produce is unusable. Teaching within a community environment removes the stigma. It achieves the same outcome of affordable nutrition. The variety of people who attend have immediate camaraderies, everyone's doing something new, so there's a huge sense of social inclusion, which is really important. The local charity And Now for Others says their motto is Together We Are Stronger, and they donated to the first kitchen equipment and the first used the kitchen. But the families have since returned many times, and stories emerge of why they connected with Vinny's. You know, there's terrible tragic tales, everyone's got traumatic events, but childhood bereavement, severe mental illness, children who self-harm and depressed, people who feel let down by the government, the lonely in society, and they're all attending. So we create something valuable. You learn a new skill in cooking and you improve your self-esteem. And that's the same for all these community kitchens. So Vinny's has been described as having a homely feel, where you learn, but it's not like school. It's relaxed, friendly and fun. I teach the cookery classes. I also teach them over Zoom too. I did them in lockdown. But having the physical space, the connection, the teaching, the tasting, the laughing together, it's a much greater impact. It creates a memory and association of good food with a good experience is one you want to repeat. Shared cooking, shared eating. So sometimes I'll meet some of the families outside of Vinny's, you know, and there's like, oh, what have you been cooking? What have you been cooking since we last met? You know, and the kids are getting involved. They're getting involved in the choices, and that circular transfer of classroom knowledge into your home environment is obvious and in action. Feedback from those who received the donated meals has always been positive. It always was with the homeless tribe, but now the YMCA says it's a welcome change from the usual ultra-processed food donations that they get, and they're reliant on them. And we've got to remember, in a country where more than a third of children have less than one portion of veg a day, improving this is a big step. So Vinny was a patient and a friend of mine who cooked with me for Scouse Kitchen. I'd pick up, he had respiratory problems, Vinny. So I'd pick up a large pan of cowboy stew he'd make on my way into town with my vegan stuff in the back. And I'd bring his pan back and I'd share the chat of the night and all the rest. Loads of compliments about his cowboy stew. It was revolutionary. But he didn't survive following a hospital admission with COVID either. So I named it Vinny's Kitchen in dedication to him, and then of course since John died. But John loved Italy and Italian food, so I thought he would approve of the name Vinny's Kitchen that he had helped create. So Vinny's is still going, as I say, it's still, I would say it's still embryonic. I'm involved with Made in Hackney, which is a big community cooking space in London, and they are providing support for community kitchens setting up. So whilst mine works, there's a load of tick boxes, so things like, you know, all your health and safety, your risk assessment, if you want to be a CIC or one of them, charity, and so you need like board of trustees, so there's all things like that, and we are going to get something together. And again, it was interesting what Bryce said. I know there might be different personalities and all that the other, and believe me, I'm sure working with staff is probably one of the worst things people do, but I think if we work collaboratively under a big umbrella, I think it'll really rock Liverpool, and I think it'll be great. And obviously we're all Scousers, and we couldn't think of anything nicer than our city being a republic flagship of you know, having a healthy community, from going from one of the worst in terms of health determinants to right up there. And food is at the absolute heart of everything. And I love food, so I've got a cookbook, little plug here, and I wrote a kids book as well, all little stories, introducing the kids into things, and my cards there if anybody who ever wants to come along to Vinny's, you're all welcome, and if you'd ever want to chat. Woo! Is that all right? I've got some pictures of the school, so that's my kids, Hannah. That's when like an hour for others come, but I'll put them out so you can come and look at them. But it's just where the space is, and just how, you know, everyone's having loads of fun, honest.
Thank you so much, Hayley. Has anyone got a question for Hayley before we gather our own other questions? Anything specific about Vinny's Kitchen you'd like to ask?
Is it maybe for children, or is it for families?
It's just turned out, so it's open to everyone, but I don't know how everyone else has found this. I sort of reached out to a lot of different groups. The other thing I would say about Vinny's is I'd say it's an idea. So actually the physical space, whilst it does matter, it's the idea of it. Say the Scouse kitchen, it's the idea of it, it's portable, it can go anywhere. You can go anywhere, set up a kitchen, educate, empower and feed people. And I think that's really important. I'm going to speak to a women's group in victims of domestic abuse in Ormskirk, so I'm going to use their space, teach them, start another round. So I think that mobility is really useful. So I've done kids, because so reached out to lots of groups, and I think some groups have things going on, so there wasn't timetable space. So we taught a load of school kids, and again, you know, we're not teaching kids in school, so you educate, you empower them, they take it home. One of the girls who came, her dad has now reversed his type 2 diabetes because she's learned to cook. He loved the food. He went plant-based, and he's reversed his diabetes over 6 months. You know, so it's really nice. They've got those kids, groups of families. I've had the medical students in, the lifestyle medicine group, because again, I know I also teach medical students, and I do cook-alongs with medical students, because you want your doctor to know about nutrition, and they don't. You get told rubbish, and there's loads of mixed messages, because everyone's got something to say about type 2 diabetes, and actually it boils down to half a plate of veg, a quarter plate of starchy veg or whole grains, and something there. I don't really care what it is. I'd rather it was some tofu, but there we go. But you know what I mean? It's like, so again, it's educating, it's all around education. And medical schools are way behind in the same way schools are behind in educating on food. Medical schools are behind on educating in nutrition. We get taught all the pharmacology, the physiology, we don't get taught about nutrition, and so 80% of chronic diseases are diet related. You don't get asked what you eat, you get given drugs, you get sent the tests, you go on this bandwagon when actually you just needed to stop, empty your kitchen cupboards and put something else in.